since it was released on February 24th, 2017, Hallownest has become well known for having one of the most demanding speedruns of all time. Requiring a mastery of combat platforming and about a dozen tricks unseen in Metroidvanias, it's no wonder these speedrunners have been able to do crazy things. But why listen to me talk about the skills when you can see for yourself? I'm Orisaey, and this is how Hallownest was beaten in just 31 minutes and 24 seconds. Oh, and this run is by SkateKing, so go check them out using the link in the description. Also, only 1% of you are actually subscribed, so hit the button and the bell as hard as you can. It really helps out the channel and lets me know what games you want to see in the future. The clock starts upon opening a save file with the language set to simplified Chinese, and we're immediately off to the races. Within the span of a few seconds, SkateKing opens his inventory to increase his falling speed, before jumping a slash string through the rest of Howling Cliffs and reaching the town of Dirtmouth. Dropping through this hole in the ground and entering the Forgotten Crossroads, he navigates the first few rooms, lining up enemies and weaving into the fight against False Knight. Battling through the first phase, SkateKing immediately breaks through this wall, prior to climbing even further and collecting the Vengeful Spirit. From here he uses the spell to blast through a pair of elder boulders, which leads him out of the Forgotten Crossroads and into what's known as Green Path. Sprinting through the area and defeating enemies left and right, SkateKing releases Soul to do what is known as a fireball skip, by shooting out a Vengeful Spirit to gain extra momentum. In the latter half of the area, he does another, letting him destroy most Knights and Hornet through a dozen well-timed attacks and collect the Mothwing Cloak. Reloading the gate to spawn at his last checkpoint, SkateKing reaches the Bungle Waste, which he quickly traverses with his newfound powers and another fireball skip, before taking damage to skip the cutscene for the Mantis Claw and restarting yet again. This time, he takes out a Grasmother and nabs his checkpoint, taking him to Salubrious Shot where he buys the Shaman Stone to make his spells even stronger. Ducking past the Merchant's Slice, SkateKing kills himself as fast as humanly possible, prior to equipping the charm from earlier, bouncing up his shade, and skimming the blue lake to arrive at the resting grounds. In the Haunted Graveyard, he activates the Dreamer Shrine statue, allowing him to brute force this platforming section and finally collect the Dream Nail. After this, SkateKing retraces his steps through the area, prior to jumping over this Great Hearth Sentry on his way to the elevator that takes him to the City of Tears. From here, he descends through a lift shaft, letting him collect a deposit of Geo, enter this building, kill this gorgeous husk, and repossess his life savings. Outside the structure, he avoids several winged sentries, as he rides even higher, cuts the string, and battles the Watcher Knights. Ascending through the area, SkateKing triggers the Lurian fight, leading him to reopen the save, go back the way he came, and delve deeper into the city itself. Scaling the open air with some recoil and a handful of fireballs, he collects this amulet, before selling it instantly and using the Geo to ride back to Dirtmouth, buy the Lumify Lantern from my good friend Sly, and return to the Forgotten Crossroads. From here, SkateKing pays his toll and reaches the Crystal Peak, which has him navigate conveyor belts, crystal crawlers, the laser beams, and rotating platforms to collect the Crystal Heart. Boosting all the way from Crystal Peak to Fog Canyon, he enters the Teacher's Archive and starts a fight against Dimmu that lasts less than 60 seconds. After this, SkateKing speaks to Quirrell, who instantly opens the battle against Monoman, taking him to the Queen's Garden. Speeding through the area, he blasts through some Mantis Petra with ease, before landing on these lawns to skip a majority of the required platforming. In no time, SkateKing makes it to his passage and descends even further through the greenery, reaching the penultimate part of the game, Deepness. Pressing on through a myriad of spiders and spores, SkateKing platforms in the Weaver's Den, where he takes a seat on his trap bench and navigates through the claustrophobic passage on his way to the fight against Hera. From here, he takes his train back to Dirtmouth and returns to the resting grounds, before shattering the seal in the Temple of the Black Egg and going straight inside. With all three dreamers gone, SkateKing quickly boosts through the first chamber, letting him break the chains, keeping the Hollow Knight himself at bay, and commence the game's penultimate battle. Savagely disintegrating the beings through 90 straight seconds of well-timed jump slashes and fireballs, SkateKing can finally put his control down, meaning the run ends with a final time of 31 minutes and 24 seconds. As with most speedruns today, the high 98% speedrun is one that requires a lot of skill. There are so many areas to memorize, items to collect, and bosses to obliterate that it's no wonder most people don't attend this category, but those that do are truly in a league of their own. For the finale of Speedrunners College Season 1 on the 1st of November, we'll be covering Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But in the meantime, if you want to break down the speedrun on one of your favourite games, then by all means suggest in the comments, and I'll see you guys in 2 months. Orisaey out.